it's almost, isn't it like surreal that this moment has finally arrived where we've lived under this cloud of darkness for so long. But and by the way, I'm not just talking about, sorry to just run out of the gate like this on fire, but I think it's important. It's not just the last 4 years, folks, and don't take this the wrong way. It's the last 8. Well, what do you mean? Trump did great his first term. 100%. They ruined his first term with Spygate, the collusion fiasco, the Hunter Biden laptop during the re-election campaign, the DC riots and all this other stuff. They ruined it. This just feels different. I'm going to give you what it's my personal perspective. Michael's here too, is producing. Michael's been here longer than me because Michael's father-in-law, the great Sean Duffy, Evita's dad, is in the process of being confirmed as a transportation secretary. So Michael's been at a lot of the events. The energy here is crazy. I just had the CEO of Westwood One sent me a text, the radio company I work with. And he said, how is it down there? I said, it's like a multi-block citywide block party. There's not like a non-MAGA person in sight, which, having worked in DC for a really long time, I got to tell you, it's just weird. I've never walked the streets of DC and candidly felt like I was home. Even when I worked at the White House in the Bush administration, in my prior line of work. But it just feels like there's been a whole takeover of the city, not just ideologically by people too. I met so many nice people. You may be asking too, Dan, I thought you said you were going to go from the studio on Monday. I'm going to explain to you because, folks, listen to me. I am never going to BS you why I came up here really at the last minute. Paul and I made a snap decision. We were in Miami yesterday. We're like, we got to go. I'll tell you what's up and what happened. So stand by. Big show today. Lot to cover. Good news, bad news, a whole bunch of breaking news. Michael's going to dip in and out of what's going on today. President went to church this morning, met them at the White House, the former outgoing disaster of a president. President Trump, of course, very classy doing that. Not sure I'd have the same self-control with these guys, but that's why I'm not president. He is. Hey, just got back from a holiday trip. You know what? We were totally prepared with all of our essential medications. Ivermectin, antibiotics, anti-nausea drugs. Where did I get them from? All Family Pharma. Thank you for hooking me up on my trip to Spain. They saved me. Luckily, I was very sick. I had the stuff ready to go. Once you qualify for a prescription, All Family Pharma delivers fast. 2 to 4 days or even overnight if it's urgent. You can stock up now and be ready for just about anything. Just visit allfamilypharma.com/Bongino. Order online, use code Bongino10 for 10% off. They make it really simple. You can customize your order or get a comprehensive package tailored to your needs. You don't need to see a doctor. They evaluate your requests and provide the prescriptions to you that are right for you. It's healthcare for you, not against you. Be proactive. Don't wait. Have this stuff on hand. You're going to need it. Here's what you need to do. Write this down. Go to allfamilypharma.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino10 for 10% off your entire order. Check them out. You're going to love it. All Family Pharma's products are not intended as a substitute for professional medical treatment or advice. Consult with your healthcare provider. We went a little early today, but can't forget the bell. Okay. We had it on loop last time going through our rundown. I was hoping it wasn't like a bell loop to blow me. It was ding, 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 ding. It reminded me of a WWE match where the guy submits and they don't let him go and they keep ringing the bell. So good. We fixed that. Thank you, guys. That's why we do a thorough rundown. Michael's always on top of it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I got down here last night and I'm telling you, it's like a citywide block party. I don't exaggerate this stuff. I never have. I've never seen Washington, D.C. like this. There are MAGA hats everywhere. So Paula, who always is very proactive about things, thankfully, because I am not. I am inherently reactive with a lot of stuff. Paula had booked a hotel room for us a long time ago on the assumption we would be here. I had changed my mind for a number of different reasons. I felt like it was really important to get a show out from the home studio. But we were invited to a number of events. Now, because it is important to me to absolutely never bullshit you, some of these events we were invited to, me and Chris from Rumble, and not only invited, but people really want us to come. were not by people you would consider friendlies. So I had decided to pass. But one of them I thought it was really important to go to. And the reason is, I can't say don't get emotional about things and push for outcomes when I can help advance an outcome by having my voice be heard and then not take it. You may agree, you may not, and that's okay. I mean, I'm here to be authentic to you. I'm not here to bullshit people for clicks. But I felt like one particular event was really important. There's going to be some social media folks there, and I feel like it's important that some of these people hear it directly from me, what happened to me and to you. And they really pushed hard for me and Chris specifically to show up. So I tossed and turned about it. But I decided Sunday in Miami after, 3 or 4 texts where they said, no, we really want to hear your side, that I thought it was important that they do hear it. I'd love to hear, listen, I don't know what you guys think in the chat. You may say, hey, it's a dumb idea, F these people. It's okay. I appreciate and value your opinion. But it's kind of hypocritical for me to stay home and say, don't get emotional, and then to get emotional about it when I can hopefully advance a different outcome in the future. We are going to need some of these people in the next 4 years in a non-emotional, technical, political tactics manner. We are going to need them to advance our message. So that's why I decided to come up. I also want to thank you today for all your hard work. I want to thank Rumble too. The studio up on Capitol Hill is absolutely beautiful. You can see the lighting here is amazing. We're working on the lighting back at home and my other place to make it sharper. But thank you to Rumble Studio. Thank you to the Rumble crew. You guys are awesome. Met Claudio, Alex, the whole crew today. I'll be with Chris, the CEO. And then thank you to all of you for making this day happen. It's so surreal being here. And really, you see up at Capitol Hill now, a lot going on. So we're going to be running some B-roll throughout the show. So that's why we started a little bit early. I have so much to get to. But thank you for all your hard work. I met so many people in the hotel. They could not have been nicer. The selfie time thing was just great. We had like a photo line going. I met Congressman Troy Nehls. And the minute we took a picture, everyone else came over and everybody had the nicest things to say. So I deeply appreciate it. Met a lot of law enforcement too. So thank you guys. All right, first, let's get to some important content. There's a lot going on today, but there's a lot to discuss. There's some big news items. That's why I'm glad you're all tuning in. It's good to see you all. First, let's debunk some serious bullshit, okay? Listen to me. I don't know why ultimately, and I hate to tell you, I don't know, but I can't tell you dispositively why the inaugural festivities were moved from a traditional outdoor Capitol Hill event indoors. There has been a ton of speculation you were well aware of. Is it security reasons? Is it the weather? It is cold. It's pretty damn cold down here, especially for me, a Floridian. Is it a combination of both? Now, to be fair, the Trump team is saying it's absolutely not security related, but this, I can tell you, this theory is absolute bullshit because I'm down here and the city is packed full of Trump people. Throw up that tweet by Murphy if you would, Michael. So here's Chris Murphy from Connecticut, obviously a hack, loser, Democrat. Trump canceled the outdoor inauguration because the mall was going to be empty and embarrassing. All he cares about are the tech bros and the ruling billionaires, so it's better they're the only ones in the room anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, that is bullshit. Michael, you're down here, correct? I'm not crazy. Seriously, folks, there's probably, 100,000 people down here who, I don't know what they're talking about, that the mall was going to be empty. I'm not the greatest judge of crowd size. I'm not going to get into that game. I'm just telling you, you couldn't swing a dead cat without hitting someone with a MAGA hat down here. And by the way, they're not even in just one spot. I'm over down by the Marriott over there. It's packed over there too. We barely got out of the car. So I don't know what they're talking about or what city they're in. Oh, look, Mike Pence. Well, I'm sure that's going to go over well. He's there too. I guess they made him. And can you dip into that? Here we go. There's Mike Pence, folks, walking up on things. We'll be dipping in and out of it, so no more. You don't need to tune in anywhere. I'm not sure how well that's going to go over. Maybe they, gave each other a fist pound, but whatevs. The city's packed. Michael, do you agree? You can't go anywhere. There is no crowd problems at all. Chris Murphy is making that up. And maybe because Chris Murphy and other Democrats have decided that instead of deal with Donald Trump, they're going to basically shit on Donald Trump. Maybe that's why this New York Post article is so relevant right now, that the Democrat Party is now at a historic level of unpopularity. The left is now more unpopular worldwide than any time since the Cold War. Yes, we have done our homework. We have exposed these people for lying frauds. What have I told you for the last 10 years doing the podcast? The left is full of shit. Nothing they tell you is true on any issue of substance ever. Nothing. It's not 1 out of 100 things are true, 10% are true, 25% are true. Nothing is true. This is what they do. They lie to you all the time. Chris Murphy is making this up. I don't care about crowd size or getting into these arguments. They're just going to distract us from the mission. I'm just telling you I'm down here, and it's total shit. And this is why you are seeing we have a unique opportunity here. We have folks in the chat. How many years do we have to get something done? Don't tell me 4. We do not. We have 2. The president's term is not 4 years. It's 2 2-year terms. Dan, it's the same thing. Yes, mathematically, it's not the same thing politically. We have the midterms coming up. What does that have to do with this? The Democrats are in absolute disarray right now. I've got some video for you coming up. They're all turning on each other. My cannibalism theory, the Dan Bongino cannibalism theory, where the left will start eating each other alive if you just give them time. Folks, chalk it up for the dub. I'm right again, because we're always right on the Dan Bongino show. That's why we're the #1 live stream in the MAGAverse anywhere by a long shot, because we never bullshit people and we never will. They are eating themselves alive right now. They don't know what to do. Trump kicked their ass. They can't get their sea legs. Their knees are wobbly. We have 2 years to make Freedom Day last and to really leave an lasting impact. I hope the next 2 after that are great too, but I work in 2-year, not 4-year cycles. Here's my cannibalism theory in full effect. Politico, otherwise known as Bullshitico. Here's Nancy Pelosi's daughter, Alexandra. Alexandra Pelosi blasts First Lady Jill Biden. So these two are now in a WWE Royal Rumble type event where the Pelosis and the Obamas and the Clintons hate the Bidens, and the outgoing Biden team finds themselves increasingly isolated. Even Mayorkas is starting to turn on him. Politico, Lady McBiden. What does that mean? So they note fueling the anger is Dr. Jill Biden, famed neurosurgeon, and now public nursing of a grudge toward Pelosi for pushing the president to withdraw from last year's campaign. Pelosi says, this is the daughter, if I was Lady McBiden, I'd put on my big girl pants, play the long game, and think about my husband's legacy. There aren't many people left who have something nice to say about Joe Biden, and Nancy Pelosi is one of them. The younger Pelosi made clear she was always talking about herself. She was only speaking for herself. Sure, Alexandra. Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton arriving now. Are there any stains on that suit? Did Bill Clinton just exit a bathroom? I'm just curious. Folks, I'm just asking questions. It's my job. I mean, was there a cigar lounge somewhere in the Capitol? Hillary, of course, looks ecstatic to be there. Look at her face with the face. Great. I lost again to Donald Trump. This is fantastic. So this is, we're getting right now, getting together the Capitol Hill ceremonies. You can see we'll be dipping in and out of that. Sorry, my rumble on my phone. I want to make sure I can read you guys. There we go. Get that chat back up and running. Let's see who's commenting here. J. Doley, 82. Less than 2 years, Dan. You're right. We got to move quick. But proving to you the cannibalism theory is real. You saw the Pelosi thing. Oh, wait, let's dip into this. Here's George W. and Laura Bush. I got to be candid with you, folks. I'm not sure they're even that happy about being there. Donald Trump has remade the Republican Party away from the old kind of swampy, Bushy mentality. I worked for President Bush. He was a decent guy. I told you I don't get emotional. I don't know how many times I got to say that. The outcomes were just not great. They just weren't. So, oh, look, here's Barack Obama with, I'll notice, sans Michelle. He is by himself, strolling in with the famous Obama walk. Look at him. He's thinking, I can't believe it now. I lost 3 elections in a row to this guy. Had to cheat in the middle one with my boy Joe Biden. He looks happy to be there too. Obama's like, I can't believe I got to. I thought this guy was Hitler, by the way. I thought he was Hitler and Mussolini and a fascist. It's amazing how they all come to pay their respects given this new era of Hitler. It shows you again that was all bullshit the whole time. Here is the most critical, I think, soundbite of the weekend, though, because it's President Trump. We're just minutes again from him being, the president, but he wasn't even out of office, Joe Biden, this weekend, and his inner circle, his cabinet, is already turning on him. I want you to listen to this soundbite, and then we'll dip back into Capitol Hill. Here's Mayorkas hinting in a weekend interview that, hey, man, it really wasn't me who wanted to open the border. There were basically a wide variety of opinions. Make no mistake, this is him throwing Biden on the bus, saying, I didn't want to do that. Biden told me to do it. This is just the beginning of the shitstorm that's coming once Biden's officially out of office. Watch for yourself.
You think none of those things, if you could go back, you would do differently?
Look, yes. And you have to understand something, and this is not specific to government, but to any large organization, including a government administration. People have different views on what the correct policies should be, what the correct operational measures should be. Those disagreements, those different views are voiced, decisions are made, and then everyone marches in unity together. That is the nature of a large organization, and the government is no different.
But just so I'm clear, are you suggesting your own personal views about how to operate this were at odds, or there was a distinction between your personal approach and how you would have wanted to do it and how maybe your bosses wanted to do it?
I don't want to get into the deliberative process. We're one team, and it's one effort, but this is not a revolutionary concept that there are disparate views when one has many people involved in the decision-making process.
Did you catch it? Did you catch it? By the way, you'll see on the screen, live coverage up on Capitol Hill. You'll see you got Pete Hegseth there, Lee Zeldin, EPA, Ratcliffe, CIA. You got Scott Turner. You have HUD. You got HHS, RFK, NSA, Michael Walls, AG, Bondi. None confirmed yet, but getting there. You got Elon there. You got a big crowd over there. But did you catch it? Folks, tell me you don't see what's going on here. I know you guys and ladies out there are way ahead of the average political viewer because you watch this show and I read your comments in the chat and on Facebook and elsewhere. Did you catch it? He's already throwing the guy under the bus. He wasn't even out of office yet. What do you think is going to happen when Biden's political power and his political bank account? I'm not talking about cash, cheese, queso, or bread. I'm talking about his political power. Donald Trump has political power. Even when he's out of office, his endorsement can change an election. A true social post can change a policy. Biden is absolutely dead in the water when he leaves. He has no political capital, no political bank account, no political power, and even his inner circle loyalists are starting to turn on him. Believe me when I tell you, I obviously disagree with Pelosi, Obama, Clinton, and that inner circle of people, but they still have a lot of whack and the ability to hurt you bad. You do not want the Obama organization, the Clinton mafia, and all of the Pelosi crew, Schumer, and all of these losers coming after you, and then your inner sanctum, Mayorkas and others, start to turn on you. It's only a matter of time before Lloyd Austin and others start to turn on him. You see, we got the members of the Supreme Court coming in now. Obviously, show a unity within the 3 branches of government. Glad they're there. Is Amy Coney Barrett. You see Neil Gorsuch, John Roberts leading the way. One of the more liberal members of the Supreme, one of the more liberal members of the liberal wing of the Supreme Court. Kavanaugh, the great, legendary Clarence Thomas. There he is. Always got to give a hat tip to the OG Clarence Thomas. We love him. Sam Alito too. Almost never lets us down. I hope you guys are okay, by the way, with us bouncing back and forth. Folks in the chat, yes or no? The show's for you, and I just feel like it's important to give you news so you can watch it on demand and it's all still relevant, like my cannibalism theory. and the EOs, but also to cover what's going on. You guys okay with that? All right, cool. I see it in the chat. Yes. Who said yes there? Big Cody Dog. Thank you, Big Cody Dog. We love you. 114,000 people. Yes. Look at it. Michael throwing it on the screen. Yes, 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 yes. Good. This is going to be a fun show today. All right. Back to my cannibalism theory. I say, oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'll get to that in a second. Folks, this is going to be probably the craziest story of the weekend. I don't know if you saw this clip, and I want to get to it before we see the official swearing in, which we'll show you some coverage of that. But there's still people filing in. Mike Johnson did an interview. And did you guys see this clip? Speaker Mike Johnson. A lot of people are saying, well, why didn't Mike Johnson tell us sooner than others? Folks, they did. I don't know if Johnson specifically, but a lot of other people out there warned us that Biden's mental acuity and his state of cognitive disrepair was so severe that people aren't really sure right now who's in charge of the White House. If you didn't see this clip, I want you to watch this. It's not just that they didn't know who was in charge. Mike Johnson says Biden didn't even know about bills and executive orders he himself signed. This is troubling. Probably the craziest story of the day. You got to see it. You be the judge.
And I said, Mr. President, thanks for the moments. This is very important. I got some big national security things I need to talk to you about that I've heard and I think you know, and what do we do? But first, real quickly, Mr. President, can I ask you a question? I cannot answer this from my constituents in Louisiana. Sir, why did you pause LNG exports to Europe? Like, I don't understand, liquefied natural gas is in great demand by our allies. Why would you do that? Because you understand, we just talked about Ukraine. You understand you're fueling Vladimir Putin's war machine because they got to get their gas from him, And he looks at me stunned with this, and he said, I didn't do that. And I said, Mr. President, yes, you did. It was an executive order 3 weeks ago. And he goes, no, I didn't do that. And he's arguing with me. I said, Mr. President, respectfully, could I go out here and ask your secretary to print it out? We'll read it together. You definitely did that. And he goes, oh, you talk about natural gas. Yes, sir. He said, no, you misunderstand. He said, what I did is I signed this thing we're gonna conduct a study on the effects of LNG. I said, no, you're not, sir. You paused it. I know. I have the export terminals in my state. I talked to those people this morning. This is doing massive damage to our economy, national security. It occurred to me, Barry, he was not lying to me. He genuinely did not know what he had signed.
Do you have any idea what a major scandal this is? That the President of the United States signed the most destructive energy resource petrochemical bill we've seen in the last 10 years and had no idea what he was doing? This is a monstrous scandal. And that people around him had to know this? Fair enough. Why didn't they warn us sooner? That's a legitimate beef. A lot of Republicans did. This is a huge scandal. This guy practically destroyed our oil export LNG business and didn't even know he did it. Folks, if this isn't investigated when we leave office, it's going to happen again. But there are a lot of people who are going to be prevented from being at least prosecuted, but not investigated too. I got that coming up next. We'll dip in and out again. The Capitol people are still filing in. Quick break. You having trouble sleeping or staying asleep? Listen, I've been there. It's not just about feeling tired the next day. It's about the toll poor sleep takes on your body. That's why I've been talking about Beam's Dream Powder for a long time. I use it. It helps me get a deep, restful night's sleep, and it prevents me from getting up all night. Sometimes I fall asleep right, but then I'm up 2 hours later, so it defeats the purpose. They sent me something to try. Been a game changer. I'm looking ahead to 2025 and quality, restful night's sleep where you hear your body. Other sleep aids can cause that next day grogginess, but Beam has a powerful blend of reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, apigenin, and melatonin. It helps you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up deeply refreshed. The ultimate sleep refresh for the new year is here. Try Beam's best-selling Dream Powder. Go to shopbeam.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino, Bongino, at checkout for up to 45% off. Folks, it's worth your time. Shop BEAM.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino at checkout for up to 45% off. And you know what? Let's talk about, while we're talking about sleep too, important, let's talk about Helix mattresses. What do I always tell you? Because I'm in a hotel room and the hotel is wonderful. But the problem with Helix mattresses, yes, is you're not going to want to sleep on another one, even in hotels. Pick up a Helix mattress today. You still sleeping on that old uncomfortable mattress? Get rid of it. You're on a mattress 8 hours a night. Sleep is where your body heals. Get yourself the best mattress. Helix, Helix. Go to helixsleep.com/Dan for 27% off plus 2 free dream pillows with a mattress purchase. In just a few minutes, the Helix team will learn about your sleep patterns and you'll get a mattress suited right for you. Helix can help you if you sleep too hot, you're a side sleeper, a back sleeper, tall, short, mattresses for kids, they have them all. Right now, again, go to helixsleep.com/Dan for 27% off plus 2 free dream pillows with a mattress purchase. helixsleep.com/Dan for 27% off plus 2 free dream pillows with a mattress purchase. Get yourself a really good mattress. Sleep tight, sleep deeply. That's where your body fixes itself. All right, back to the show. Let's dip in quickly here just to Capitol Hill. You see Jared Kushner, you see there. You have Lara Trump, Marco Rubio. There's Zuckerberg. You see Zuckerberg, the CEO of Facebook there. Jeff Bezos, that's Sundar, I believe from Google. Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary nominee. Is that Laura Sanchez next to Jeff Bezos? Yeah, it is. That's his. Are they married yet? I'm not. Anybody know in the chat? I'm not really sure. I don't follow like the page 6 things on who's married with the and who's not. But it's a little interesting, right, to see these tech titans. And just so you know, I got a lot to get to, but this kind of goes back to the beginning of the show, and I think Trump is playing this the same way. It makes no sense right now to get emotional about this stuff. We need to fix an outcome. We were censored in the past using some of these exact same people. Jeff Bezos, Google, Sundar, YouTube. I'm still banned from YouTube for telling you masks don't work, but I'm not emotional about it. I need an outcome. And if these people are going to come and, kiss Trump's ass and kiss the ring and are going to fix this bullshit, then you know what? Let them fix it. I mean, what am I going to say? No, keep censoring us? I need to win. I need to tactically win. And I'm not going to get emotional about this stuff. I'm sorry. It's, there's too much destruction going on the way out the door. What do I mean by that? I don't mean to be depressing on such a wonderful day, but this is a news show and I got to give you both sides. I promise we're going to end with the litany of good news because the winning, trust me, has just begun. I don't know if you even caught all these stories, but I told you this guy had the weekend and right up to now, Joe Biden, thankfully this is ending, the ability to destroy this country, and he's taken it. This is one of the most disturbing things he's done yet. Kyle Griffin, who has blocked me on X, which is good because I don't like this guy anyway, but he puts in there, breaking. President Biden just pardoned Mark Milley, Anthony Fauci, the January 6th committee members of Congress and their staffers, and the police officers who testified before the J6 committee. Biden says these pardons are not an acknowledgement of wrongdoing. Then why would you need a pardon? Folks, this is some serious bullshit. Now, I would be remiss if I did not tell you that a preemptive pardon for a crime you're saying never happened. He notes there are exceptional circumstances and I cannot do nothing, even when individuals have done nothing wrong. If they did nothing wrong, how in a court, unless you're acknowledging the government court system is completely political like it was against Donald Trump, if they did nothing wrong, what are you worried about? There's a question about the constitutionality of this, and there's a way to test it. Anybody know? All of these individuals, Milley, Fauci, Liz Cheney, Kinzinger, and others, should be brought up to Capitol Hill. And if the pardon is constitutionally valid, there's no threat of prosecution, correct? So if there's no threat of prosecution, there is zero reason whatsoever that they can cite the Fifth Amendment as a reason not to testify against prosecution because there's no threat of prosecution. You can't have it both ways, bro. What I'm getting at is even if these pardons do turn out to be constitutionally valid, which I doubt, then this investigation cannot stop. Because, ladies and gentlemen, knowledge is power. And if we don't figure out what Anthony Fauci's role in the COVID disaster and scandal, not just the closing of the schools, the lying about the masks, the lying about the vax, but the funding of a potential Chinese bioweapon that killed millions of people around the world, then, dude, it's going to happen again. This does not stop congressional committees and others from investigating. And I don't want to hear shit from the swampy, rhino-ass Republican crowd. It's the past. It's time to move on. It's not the past. It's a statement about the role of weaponized big government in our lives, from everything from the prosecution of Donald Trump to the weaponization of government against landlords and keeping our kids out of school. Bullshit. We should absolutely still investigate this. They should be hauled up to Capitol Hill, put under oath, and forced to testify. And there'll be no pleading the fifth. Here's Adam Kinzinger himself, crying Adam, captain of the Rhinos, absolute life loser zero. Here's a little quickie montage of Adam Kinzinger saying, what would you need a pardon for if you're not guilty of anything? Gee, I don't know, Adam. Maybe you can answer that question now. Check this out.
The only reason I know to ask for a pardon is because you think you've committed a crime.
I only know of one reason to seek a pardon, because you're worried that you're guilty, that you committed a crime.
Yep, I agree. I'm not asking for a pardon. What do I need a pardon for? I don't need a pardon. Matter of fact, if they were to prosecute me for one of their fabricated Trump-level crimes they make up out of thin air, like the fake fraud case with no victims up in New York, you're only going to add to my audience and our power. This is the most powerful MAGA show out there by far by prosecuting me and making a martyr out of us. I don't need a pardon. And neither should Kinzinger, Liz Cheney, or others. Why didn't they just turn it down? Why didn't they just... You're telling me, seriously, with a straight face, you're going to tell me that they didn't know this was coming? Michael, you need a pardon? I don't think so. Michael doesn't need a pardon. I don't need a pardon. Evita doesn't need a pardon. Yeah, Michael's like, well, I don't know, man. It's just a thing back in high school. I think the statute of limitations ran out. Paula don't need no pardon. All right, now I want to get to the good news, but the ceremony's going to start. Dip in there quickly. You'll see they got everything set up. Looks kind of, oh, there we go. There's Snoop Douggie Doug and famed neurosurgeon Dr. Jill Biden coming in. Look at them. That's, of course, there's just the picture of dignity and respect. Dr. Jill Biden, I wonder if she just got out of surgery. Did she perform a neurosurgery? Although we got the family coming. Oh, look at Barron, man. Barron looking sharp. Is Barron like 7 feet tall or what? My gosh, Michael's like 7 feet tall. And I think Barron, look at him, he's taller than Eric. And Eric's a big guy. If you ever stood next to Eric, Eric's particularly tall. So again, we'll be dipping in and out of this. You know, let's take our last break of the show so we can run through this unimpeded. We appreciate our sponsors. Of course, they're here to talk to you and they keep the show free. So we deeply appreciate it. Blackout Coffee. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can tell by the energy in today's show, I did what I do every morning. I had a piping hot fresh of bold but never bitter Blackout Coffee. I even take it on the road with me and they're ready to drinks because I love it. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino for 20% off your first order. It is the official coffee of the Bongino Army. Why? Because they're not woke. They hate that woke crap. Matter of fact, the owner of the company loves America so much, he puts 2A on some of the covers of his coffee packages. What does that stand for? It's not an appendix. Second Amendment. He loves this country. They use premium grade coffee beans. They ship within 48 hours of roasting. They love the country, but they make great coffee too. They're not asking you to buy anything but a premium level coffee with premium level beans. The coffee is delicious. I love it. I have 2 to 3 cups a morning. Bold, never bitter. Their flavors are incredible. They have regular, they have espresso, cinnamon French toast, blueberry crumble, dark chocolate. Absolutely incredible. Give it a shot. Do me a favor, go to blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino or use code Bongino for 20% off your first order. Make the switch to Blackout Coffee. Again, blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino or use code Bongino for 20% off your first order. Thank you, Blackout Coffee. We appreciate it. Again, dipping back in there. You see now they got the family set up. You see Don Jr. there. You see Ivanka. You see the tech bros in the back. There's Elon next to them. So they're getting ready to roll, and we'll be dipping back into this. But I did want to get to the good news. You think I'm going to leave you today? I mean, the show just started, number one. But you think I'm going to leave you today on Freedom Day, on Emancipation Day, the day the revolution for freedom begins with any kind of bad news? No, we cover that stuff because it's part of the news cycle and it shows you what we're combating. But folks, the good news is the winning has already begun. I want you to check this out. Washington Post, John Hudson, scores of career State Department diplomats resign before Trump's inauguration. Trump's team requested high-level resignations as the president-elect prepares a sharp break with the Biden administration. Again, the famed Dan Bongino, yes, it is time. It is. People are policy, brothers and sisters, in the vast and growing Bongino army. People are policy. No, Dan, policy's policy. Policy is not policy. The Constitution is just a suggestion to the left. It doesn't matter to them. I prove it to you over and over when I talk about the student loan debacle. There's nothing in the Constitution that says Biden can steal your money to pay off some woman named Marcy's student loans. But he did it. Supreme Court told him not to do it. He did it anyway. Dan, how can that happen? Because, folks, the Constitution is just a suggestion to the left. People are policy. If you get people in there who believe in the Constitution, we will get back to a constitutional republic. The fact that these State Department folks are resigning en masse says what? Some of you in the chat will pick up on this. The Trump team learned from its first term exactly that lesson. People are policy, not policy. People are policy. So that these people are walking out the door is absolutely fantastic news. State Department diplomats can do a lot of damage. Go back and read my book, Spygate. If you get it from the library, whatever, as you know, I'm not trying to sell you books or anything like that. But you'll see how the State Department was a key component in making sure the media ran with the fake Russia collusion hoax. The State Department had a key role in that. It is extremely powerful. You should be glad they're resigning en masse. Here's another piece of good news out of the New York Post. Illegal immigrants, who, by the way, they broke the law by coming here illegally. That's why it's called illegal immigration. Worried migrants flee New York City shelters as Trump ICE raids loom. It's better to leave before. Again, people or policy. Folks, the policy hasn't even changed yet. Trump has not signed a single executive order because he's not sworn in yet. He will be by the time many of you watch this, but that's not the point. The point is he's not right now, and migrants are already leaving. Why? Because there's new people in there. Tom Homan and others, Kristi Noem at DHS. You are going to see a change in direction and a massive one moving forward. And that's the reason people are leaving who are here illegally, or at least leaving the shelters and finding that they're not going to get a big warm and fuzzy. We should not. What, ladies and gentlemen in the chat, answer this question for me. What level of illegal immigration should we accept? How many? Any ideas? You know what the official position of the Dan Bongino show, i.e. me, eponymously named, is? Any ideas? How many in the chat? How many illegal immigrants should we accept? Let's see who gets it first. There we go. Lori Thomas T. None. Zero. You are correct. We accept zero. That is, we either have laws or we don't. Zero. Who said that? T. Random. Yes. Zippo. Zero. Now, does that mean we're going to have zero illegal immigrants? No, of course not. Is that an acceptance of defeat? Absolutely not, folks. We're human beings. You know, how many murders do we accept? Zero. Are there still murders? Yes, because it's hard to predict human behavior. This is a Minority Report. And people, unless they've broken the law, you can't go out and lock them up preemptively. This isn't Tom Cruise's Minority Report. Hey, the precog said you're going to commit a murder across the border. However, when you aspire to zero illegal immigration, rather than the Biden team that aspires to a whole country full of illegal immigrants, you're going to see a massive drop because people are policy. I wanted to get to this too. This was Fox coverage the other day. I don't know if you saw this, but Trump is setting up a signing station at Capital One Arena for today. You guys hear this story in the chat? This is total personnel. Who said that? Speak to Truth McGroin. Yeah, brother. Total personnel warfare. Total personnel warfare. People are policy. There's Newt Gingrich. You'll see on the screen right now. You got a whole bunch of people. Look at it. Who is that? Is that the old speaker? That is, right? My eyes aren't that great. Yeah, look at that. You got a whole bunch of people like paying homage. That's you get Kevin McCarthy there too. You got the whole crew, man. You got a lot of rhinos. Oh, look, it's Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Another one knee deep in the whole Spygate affair. There's Don Jr. and Ivanka looking great, looking serious up there. Barron, again, you see him on the screen. A total personnel warfare. But getting back to what point I was going to make, there is no one who understands the showmanship of politics like Donald Trump. Folks, he's a unique figure. And again, that's another word I hate because it's unbelievably overused, which is kind of ironic when you think about it. Nobody understands modern politics and the showmanship of it like Donald Trump. The word out there is at Capital One Arena, he's going to do a signing ceremony in front of a massive crowd, which is, I don't believe, ever been done before, with this desk, and he is going to sign a bevy of EOs. Ladies and gentlemen, not only total personnel warfare, thank you, speak the truth, but another one, shock and awe. That's all I want to see. I want to see the Dan Bongino, now soon to be implemented shock and awe theory of government, which resembles one of our other theories of government, the Rock'em Sock'em Robots theory. That was about appointments. This is about policy. The second they start bitching about one EO, you sign another one. And the second they start writing about that, bang, you sign another one. I got this. I was just in Miami. It's just keep signing. Just keep signing. Here's Fox News coverage of what's coming. Ladies and gentlemen, shock and awe, kids. Shock and awe. Check this out.
What else do you expect to see on day one from the president?
Well, once again, he is hitting the ground running. A number of the executive orders, as we understand it, based on our conversations, not just with the president, but with a number of his team members, he's going to issue a whole bunch. His arm is going to be sore by the time he's finished signing his name time and time again. I don't think this is a hidden secret or thing, but there could very well be 100 of them.
Now, Michael, wouldn't you agree we wish nothing but the best of health on President Trump? Of course, right? But, Michael, would you also agree that nothing would please me more than tomorrow President Trump coming in with a sling on his arm because it's swollen? He's right, he's a righty. Would you not agree? Folks, my arm's a little swollen. I've got this sling on. I think he should do that. Even if he doesn't need it, I think he should come out with the sling on and go, folks, it would be like when he came out with the sanitation vest on, the orange sanitation vest, which was amazing. He should come out with a sling and go, you know what? It hurts. I signed 200 EOs fixing everything from the border to the disastrous energy policies to Biden's Title IX bullshit to the SEC targeting of Elon to Cuba being pulled off the terror list to economic, to petrochemicals, to energy. I signed so much, I've got to put this sling on my arm because the winning hurts. Folks, the winning actually hurts. Here we go. This is what it should look like tomorrow. Should walk out like, don't you agree? Strap right. Man, you know what? It should be like, it shouldn't even be a formal sling. It should be like the First Blood, John Rambo from the First Blood thing, when he just like makes it out of a canvas sack and he sticks his hand in it. I can't do it. The winning is just painful, folks. My arm is actually swollen. He should flex and be like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm going to auto sign the rest of them. That's what winning looks like. Here is an informal list of some of the proposed EOs, obvious executive orders, of course. Obviously, we'll know about it more. The details. Jackie Heinrich, who's an excellent reporter at Fox. Oh, wait, hold on. We'll go back. We got to dip into this. Usha Vance. Can we pop into that? There's Usha Vance, our now second lady, looking lovely. For the absolutely stunning Melania Trump with, I don't know outfits or designers, but looks just incredibly classy, as she always does. Ladies and gentlemen, the classiest first lady I think we've ever had. Melania Trump. You know, when I say that, because again, I'm not emotional. Melania Trump and I don't agree about every political issue and stuff, but there's no question she brings dignity and class to the office. Looks amazing. She's got a black type fancy hat with some white in it, and then a trench coat type outfit. I'm not one for designers, folks. I got my Dan Bongino. You know who designed this? Paula. So Freedom and Liberty Dan Bongino shirt. So you get the point. That's not closed up. I have to go to a black tie event, and folks, you agree or not? I'm wearing a black suit with a black. Is that okay? Do you guys know black tie stuff? I'm wearing a black tie with a black suit. Is that okay? Michael says it's okay. Folks in the chat, is that day class A? Am I like showing up like a bum? I promise it's a nice suit. It's not like a cheapo. But I don't want to do black. I'm not interested. That's not my thing. And I'm definitely not wearing no bow tie. Maybe one day if someone asked me to play James Bond in a movie, which is never going to happen, I'll put the bow tie on. But I'm sorry. I think a black tie and a black suit's enough. Who the hell's going to know the difference? I haven't been to a black tie event in so long, and I don't even remember the last time I wore a tuxedo. I think it was with the Secret Service when they used to make you wear these poorly fitting tuxedos for black tie events. Okay, let me go back to that Jackie Heinrich tweet. Sorry, folks, you know I get distracted easily. List of the executive orders: close the border to illegals via proclamation, declare a national emergency, cartels, designated foreign terrorist organizations, reinstituting remain in Mexico, and catch and release. This will be absolutely outstanding. Unleash Alaskan energy, thank the Lord. Terminate Biden's energy policies, return federal workers to in-person work, strengthen control over senior government officials, merit-based hiring reviews, suspending security clearances for the 51 tyrants who signed that ridiculous laptop letter. Thankfully, end all DEI programs across the federal government, an absolute divisive disgrace. Establish a new DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency. The left is threatening to sue about that right away. Declare a national energy emergency, pause offshore wind leases, withdraw from the Paris disastrous climate accords, and finally, direct all agencies and departments to remove all federal actions that increase costs for families and consumers. I think that's fantastic. Stephen Miller, who's an excellent advisor to President Trump, apparently has been briefing members about what's coming up on the border. You'll see this coming up here. And he's been here we go. Oh, thank you, Michael, for dipping in. You see now Biden, Kamala Harris dipping in there. Biden looks confused. As you can see from Joe Biden, would you guys agree he's curious as to where he is right now? He's been told, follow the guy in front of you. He has no idea who that is. That is the Democrat minority leader on the House side, Hakeem Jeffries. Biden's been told, he's talking to Kamala, who's this guy in front of me that I've been told to follow. There's probably, let's look at the back of Hakeem Jeffries here. Hakeem Jeffrey has a sign on the back. It says, follow here with an, I'm kidding. Fact checkers. I'm not sure if you're still in business after Facebook dumped you. Or said they dumped you. I'm not sure. But of course, we're just kidding. But he doesn't know where he's going, Joe Biden. He looks confused, him and Kamala Harris. You see the look at his face? I'm not exaggerating, by the way. He genuinely looks confused as to where he's actually going. Here's a tweet about Stephen Miller from Alex Salvi. Talking about all of these blitz of executive orders that are going to happen. You can read it, but it's going to be a big deal. This stuff is going down, folks, and it's happening right now. Oh, there he is, J.D. Vance. That's good to see. We're just moments away from him being the vice president of the United States. Folks, a guy I supported early, publicly. I think you all know that. Some of you had a different opinion about other candidates. As you know, I value your opinion. I have my own. I felt strongly about it. I think JD understands and has a finger on the pulse of the direction of the Republican Party better than a lot of politicians do. And I'm thinking, and I was thinking at the time, it's from, if you ever watch Hillbilly Elegy, how hard JD Vance grew up. Did you guys see, you folks in the chat, if you watch that on Netflix or elsewhere, I know some of you don't like Netflix, but his movie and book, Hillbilly Elegy, about how he grew up, whether you like or don't like JD, that's up to you. I'm not here to tell you who to like. I'm just saying, I think you'll respect him a lot more when you watch what he went through with the drug problem with his mom. It's something, sadly, I'm, all too familiar with. That still digs at me sometimes. I got a lot more to get to, so don't go anywhere. Like I said, we'll be dipping in and out of coverage here. Folks, not just should we still investigate the people involved with these pardons, Mark Milley, Fauci, the J6 committee, we still don't have answers, ladies and gentlemen, on the pipe bomber, why the Secret Service text disappeared. Many people have been asking me about, the Secret Service and the potential appointment of Sean Curran. I covered that on Friday. I know Sean personally, good, decent human being. He's a good husband, a good father to his kids. Whether he's the right guy or not, we're going to wait for outcomes, folks. I can't let my personal feelings get in the way. I've already made my feelings known about the position. I've already told the president personally, I don't think he'd have any problem me sharing the phone call, that if they need any kind of advice or guidance on the potential future of the Secret Service, I'm here. I'm not here to be, it's his presidency. It's his decision what to do. It's not mine. My only interest is in helping them advance the football and keeping this guy safe. Having said that, There is absolutely, oh, there he is. Yes, the boss. This is good to look at this. Here he is. The Secret Service, his Secret Service code name last time was not the Emperor, but a couple guys used to jokingly call him the Emperor because the way he walks in the room. There he is. Is this not great to see? Folks in the chat, I got a favor. Blow up this chat. I hate to melt down Rumble today. Yes, some of you beat me to the punch. American flags in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. The boss has arrived. The now moments away from being the 47th president of the United States. There is the lovely Melania being escorted in by a military escort. This is just, I'm not going to do a Lawrence. I'm feeling going down my leg because it's tough to say you're not going to get emotionally like outcomes. And we haven't seen any outcomes yet. He hasn't even sworn in, but we worked hard, folks, for this moment. We, notice I didn't say me. I can't vote, 87 million times, okay? I can vote once. I asked you guys and ladies for a favor. I said, go out and grab 10 people and bring them with you on election day. And you did. And that's why this moment is here right now. And my gosh, that's good to watch. Even if you're watching on demand, you get to relive this over and over. Or on Apple or Spotify, we thank you so much. It's been so good to be here throughout this whole process. It's just... watching it happen again is very surreal, and I'm sorry to keep repeating it, but getting back to what I was talking about, we should still investigate Fauci, Milley, and others, get them under oath. But there's also reports out there, leading report and others are reporting that the House Oversight Committee, Jim Comer, is saying that they're going to investigate employees of the FBI, DOJ, IRS, and SEC who put up roadblocks to its inquiries into the Biden family. Good. None of these people should get away with it, or else what's going to happen, folks? Yes, it's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. This is what happened in the first term. There is an excellent, is this in the newsletter, this Crimel, whatever article it is? Please read this article. It's a Substack. It is worth your time. Maybe not today, but wait, let's dip into this. Here's Biden again, looks lost. Someone told him, follow the lady to your left. He's like, I don't really know this lady. Is that my wife? Oh, look at it. Oh, look, you know why they're clapping? They're clapping because they're like, thankfully, we're done with this idiot. There's Steve Witkoff, our Middle East envoy in the background. Look, Apple's Tim Cook is there too. Kristi Noem right behind him, our nominee for DHS secretary. All right, with the applause on this guy, I hope they're only applauding because he's leaving. This guy really, I don't need to see his face at any event as majestic as today's. Okay, look, Reverend Kane, you're wrong, gonna die. He doesn't even know where he is. He has no idea why people are clapping. If you all are missing this live, by the way, this is terrific. I love dipping into the commentary. Go to Bongino.com/newsletter, please. Follow our newsletter. It's absolutely free. We won't spam your inbox. And read this article. It's about the first Trump term administration and how people or policy, how they did everything they could to lie to people because Trump was an outsider and his team wasn't as familiar with the machinations of government as other people who've been career politicians were. So they talk about how staffers would lie. It's a fascinating article to the Trump appointees and tell them they couldn't do stuff. It gives a number of examples that are really disturbing. That's not going to happen this time. Throw up that part 2 to this. That career employees in DOJ refused to prosecute cases they ideologically disagreed with, even when the facts showed clear legal violations. Civil rights staffers refusing to work on cases involving discrimination against Asian Americans at school and protecting nurses from being forced to participate in abortions. They lied to the Trump team. That's not going to happen this time. We got J.D. Vance coming in now. Again, moments away from being our vice president. Lovely Usha off his left shoulder behind. Don Jr. off the right shoulder. Bezos right behind Don Jr. behind that Elon. See Howard Lutnick there as well. Just a really majestic moment. JD just minutes away from being sworn in as vice president. Of course, the second in line for the presidency. Folks, we still have a lot of open questions while we're watching this and getting ready for the ceremony. We still have a lot of open questions that I'm not willing to let go. Again, Fauci, the J6 committee, the pipe bomber, and others. But just getting back to the Secret Service, the potential appointment of Sean Curran as director. I haven't seen anything official yet. It seems like it's pretty much a done deal. A lot of people in the Secret Service are already talking about the transition. But one thing we have to get to the bottom of immediately, I'm going to play a clip from Tucker Carlson's show here. He had the great Sean Davis on, is what the hell happened to Butler? Folks, we still have no explanation as to why this would seem to be a kid, how he had all this high-level degree of kind of executive function to be able to pull this off, and nobody seems to know if he was working with anyone still. I'm not buying it. Check this out.
So almost exactly 5 months ago, the Republican presidential candidate is shot in the face on camera. The man who apparently did it is killed. The world stops. History changes. But the one thing that doesn't happen is any accounting of what that was. Who was this guy? How did this happen? And even now, on the cusp of Trump's inauguration, it's disappeared. I haven't heard anybody ask those questions. I've heard some dark mutterings. And so you're one of the people who I think was on the story at the very beginning in a rational but insistent way. And so I thought it'd be worth asking, like, what was that?
Yeah, I'm not sure I've ever seen an incident of that magnitude disappear from the news so quickly.
Yes.
We got, what, maybe a week?
We ever going to get an answer on that? It's kind of important, folks. And can I bring up something else that's not on anybody's radar right now either? Hey, I'm asking, like, Michael's going to go, no, you can't. This is really important. This is not one of these throwaway stories. We need answers on that, and the next Secret Service director, if it's Sean Curran or anybody else, needs to get answers on that. And I better see on week 1, month 1, I'll give you a little bit of time, week 1, month 1, and a full account of why the January 6th pipe bomber text disappeared. I'll be all over if it doesn't come out. All over it. Wait, let me just go dip in here. There he is. There he is, the boss, walking in the room, shaking Joe Biden's hand. Being very courteous, which he is because he's a gentleman. Barron shaking Joe Biden's hand too. See JD there. Donald Trump getting ready for the big moment here. This is again just a transformational moment in modern American history. There hasn't been an incoming president with the political capital Mr. Donald J. Trump, now soon to be President Donald J. Trump, has had in a long time. And ladies and gentlemen, we got 2 years to switch this place around. But just, getting back to my point, don't overlook who is going to head the diplomatic security service. You're like, what the hell is that? This is important. If my vision and the vision of many other change agents for changing the Secret Service is implemented, then the Secret Service is only going to be responsible for threat investigations against the president, security for the president and their family, and the vice president. That's it. The Secret Service right now, which is ridiculous, by the way, is responsible for every foreign head of state security when they come to the United States. That has to go. That should immediately be turned over to the Diplomatic Security Service. That's going to be Marco Rubio at State Department. That's his Secret Service. They are excellent agents. They know what they're doing. There's going to need a massive expansion over there, but I would consider advising on that as well. They have to take foreign heads of state, all of them, get that out of the Secret Service's wheelhouse. So DSS, don't overlook that either. That is going to be a very, very critical appointment moving forward if transformational change is supposed to happen within the United States Secret Service. By the way, we will have a radio show today. Some of you were asking, I saw in the chat, and I was reading some of your Facebook messages. Jim will be in Dallas. I'm moving right next door because Russell Brand's coming into the Rumble studio here at 12 to do his show. So I'm going to be moving right next door for the radio show. There will be a radio show at 12, but I wanted to get to one last story. Just dip in quick. I'll show you just so you don't think you're missing anything right now, folks. It's Amy Klobuchar up there right now, just rambling on probably about how Donald Trump is a fascist Nazi or something like that, making themselves look ridiculous. Who knows what the hell she's saying, but it hasn't started yet. We'll be dipping in and out in the radio show as well. If you want to watch that on Rumble, we'll be covering that live the entire day. But I'd be remiss if I did not address again what happened with TikTok this weekend. Donald Trump, the TikTok, I got a text from my daughter. My daughter is 21. She's an adult. She likes TikTok. I'm not going to lie to you about it. I've warned her about the ramifications of it, folks. You know, I use TikTok. I use it to prepare the show. I'm very careful about where I use it because it is a CCP affiliated app and there is data theft that goes on. However, I was never for the ban of TikTok. You can go back and look because I know what they do. I know who they work with. And I've decided to take proactive measures and use the platform because it is helpful for me with show prep. Donald Trump put out a Truth Social post and is being widely credited with saving the platform. Some people disagree, notably Senator Tom Cotton, who want this thing gone right now. He said, I'm asking companies to not let TikTok stay dark. He's going to issue an executive order today. He wants to see the U.S. at 50% ownership in a joint venture. I'm an equity holder at Rumble. I am not a manager here at Rumble. I have suggested to Chris many times that we should be involved in any of that. What they decide to do is up to them. But TikTok should, I agree with him 100%, at minimum, be 50% American owned. I think it should be 100%. But the deplatforming of it, I don't agree with. Some of you disagree. I don't. I think we should be warned. You are warned. You can look it up on yourself by yourself what they do. You don't have to worry about that with Rumble, of course, but TikTok, it is a problem and a significant one. All right, folks, I really appreciate you all tuning in today. I hope you enjoy the rest of today's Freedom Emancipation Day. We are reclaiming our country. I'm absolutely honored to be a part of it. I'm honored you're a part of it. I am down here. I'll be down here till tomorrow morning. The show will be back live from the home studio. I'm dipping out about 5:30 tomorrow morning. I'm going to give you tomorrow so you know what to expect the rest of the week. I've got a big show for you today. Of course, just broke before we got on the air, the TikTok. It's not a ban. I wish they would stop referring to it as that. The law against TikTok having foreign ownership was upheld by the Supreme Court. We're going to get into that. Also, I had President Trump on the show yesterday. He was fantastic. It was one of the best interviews we've had with him. He does a number of good interviews, but yesterday was really on point. We covered a lot of territory. So we're going to bring up some of that and discuss it. Also, there's a whole bunch of rumors going around. I haven't seen it yet from President Trump about the Secret Service director. Of course, my name, no matter how many times I bring this up, continues to get dragged into it by anti-Trump people, by left-wing lunatics. I don't know how many times I got to clear the air on this. If you just listen to my show, you wouldn't have to reach out to me for comment like 1,000 media people did yesterday. And I'm not talking about the one I actually talked to. You know your name. It's a she. She's wonderful. But I've told you this. I don't know how many times I have to say it. I know a lot of you are asking me for my opinion. All right, I'll give it to you. But I'm not going to get emotional about it because I believe in outcomes. I'm going to tell you some things we need to happen. If they don't happen, you can form your own opinion. Hey, we may have won the election. The fight to restore our great nation is only beginning. Now is the time to take a stand. Patriot Mobile is leading the charge. As America's only Christian conservative wireless provider, Patriot Mobile offers a way to vote with your wallet without compromising on quality or convenience. Patriot Mobile isn't just about providing exceptional cell phone service. It's a call to action to defend our rights and freedoms. With Patriot Mobile, you'll get outstanding nationwide coverage because they operate on all three major networks. You have a cell phone service. If you have cell phone service, you can get cell phone service with Patriot Mobile with a coverage guarantee. Here's the difference. Every dollar you spend with Patriot Mobile supports a company who believes in the Bill of Rights, Second Amendment, the sanctity of life, our veterans and first responders. Switching's easy. Keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. Their 100% U.S.-based customer support team will help you find the perfect plan. So right now, go to patriotmobile.com/Dan or call 972-PATRIOT and get a free month of service with the promo code Dan. Switch to Patriot Mobile today. Defend freedom with every call and text you make. Visit patriotmobile.com/Dan or call 972-PATRIOT. All right, fellas, let's go. Very nice. Waited for the clickaroo from the fingers. First, let's address the story that just dropped. I don't want to call it some bombshell because that word is, as you well know, extremely overused, way too much. It's pretty much to be expected, but as the New York Slimes reports just now, Supreme Court backs the law requiring TikTok to be sold or banned. I just want to clear up a couple things. Number one, well, let me get this out first. I disagree with the law. I'll explain in a second, but I owe you an opinion up front because it's an opinion show. You guys digest that. Folks in the chat, I genuinely want to hear your opinion. You like this law, you hate this law, because you guys are what matters. Let's clear something up, though. It is not a ban. It is not a ban. It is not a First Amendment issue on its face. The law basically says that TikTok is fine as long as it divests from its attachment to the Chinese Communist Party. I just told you I disagree with the law. But it's really important that we don't get emotional about it and we speak about what the law actually is, not what people want it to be. Because for political reasons, people on both sides of the aisle trying to blame everyone else because TikTok is popular and think they're going to get the youth vote. That's what's behind this. They're like, Donald Trump banned TikTok. Joe Biden banned TikTok. Chuck Schumer banned TikTok. John Thune banned. You see what they're doing? It's not a ban. They have said to the Chinese Communist Party, at least affiliated people running TikTok, you cannot have this attachment and have this media presence in the United States. That's what they've said. TikTok has amended. They've almost made the decision, if they go offline Sunday, to ban themselves. Again, I disagree with it. I'm just telling you what it is. Why? Because TikTok could sell the company. Now, you may say, Dan, well, that's a Hobson's choice. It's either this horse or no horse at all. Okay, fair enough. But it is not a de jure ban. Maybe it's a de facto one. I'll settle on that. TikTok doesn't want to sell. They're saying we'd rather pull the thing off the market. Well, I guess we'll see what happens on Sunday. Again, quickly before I move on to Secret Service and other things that were all over the news. Again, I got 1,000 phone calls last night. I've told people, just listen to the damn show. I promise you, I'm not going to hide anything from you, okay? I disagree with the bill. Why? Because, folks, it is not a secret that the Chinese Communist Party has at least some degree of attachment to TikTok. And yes, they are absolutely using it for propaganda and to probably harvest data. You know that. I know that. I use TikTok. I use it for show prep because it's good for clips. I am well aware of the fact that they are probably monitoring what's going on in my account. Folks, my For You page is about Caesar, the Roman Empire, life hacks, cold plunges, the effects of sauna, Dr. Rhonda, Huberman. I mean, I don't really know what they could be harvesting. I'm on there on a separate phone. I use that phone for show prep. I don't know. If you don't like it, then don't use the app. I'm a big boy rules guy. I'm sorry. I mean, there's a guy on Twitter this morning, trashing me on, Bongino on Rumble. I said, the guy's on Rumble. You don't see me telling Chris the CEO, hey, can we get rid of this guy? You can't be a free speech guy and not be a free speech guy. I don't mean legal free speech. It's not a First Amendment issue. It's not. I just mean, you know the rules. You don't like TikTok, then get off TikTok. All right, enough on that. It just happened, and I want to make sure you have my thoughts on it because it's an opinion show. Folks, I got just eaten a lot. Last night was not a good night for me. I slept like a champion. I feel great today. But I did not feel good last night. And, you know, one of the things that I hear from you most often that creates this attachment between me and my audience is you guys say to me that often the greatest compliment in the world is, hey, Dan, the show feels authentic. That's because it is. Folks, I'm not going to fake it. And if something makes me look bad, then it's my obligation to kind of talk about it honestly, even if it makes me look bad, because it's not up to me to sit here and pretend to be something I'm not. I have said repeatedly, there are some internet rumors and some reporting by credible reporters, including Susan Crabtree, who's very well sourced, by the way, that the next director of the Secret Service is going to be Sean Curran. I'm going to tell you in advance all the disclosures you need so you understand how I'm trying to be objective, but it's understandably hard. Sean Curran is a good friend I've known a long time, a very long time. We've been through a lot together. Sean is a good and decent and kind human being with a ton of character and a lot of dignity, and he's a patriot who loves his country. That's indisputable. Is Sean Curran the right man to be the Secret Service director? Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know that. I'm sorry, but you're my audience, and you're looking for authenticity, and I'm not going to forfeit it over a personal relationship. Before I get to Curran and Sean Curran and my opinion on that too, I just want to say, I've said repeatedly to you, and I don't know why people keep reaching out to me. Stop asking me this question. I had zero input. The first conversation I've had about this was yesterday. That is it. I have had zero input. You guys impart upon that what you want. I'm just giving you the facts. Nobody has reached out to me about this at all. Nobody. You want me to sit here and tell you I am that, like John Fund, right, fellas? You got that John Fund piece? That I'm the guy sitting there pushing the buttons of the transition team. John Fund from National Review says that I was an integral figure in picking Pete Hegseth and Matt Gaetz. Folks, I'm not even an integral figure in picking the Secret Service director. I don't know what anybody's talking about. I have almost zero relationship with anybody on the transition team at all. I don't understand. Like, you get these anti-Trump people like Dan Bongino is a closet cabinet guy. He's advising Trump. And then you get these other people who are disappointed that I'm not more connected than I am. That's not who I am. I have a relationship with President Trump. It's a good one because I don't bother him, and that's it. But I had nothing to do with this at all. Nobody called, nobody asked me anything. Now, having said that, I will say I'm disappointed. Not in the selection. We'll see what happens. I'm an outcome-based guy. But I'm disappointed because if these 4 things don't happen with the Secret Service, which, by the way, no one's called and asked about at all. I mean, it only involves the president's life. I mean, why would anyone give a shit, right? If I sound a little perturbed about that, I am, because I actually care about the president, and I told him as much yesterday. I actually genuinely care about this guy staying alive, and I've told anybody who will listen, including him. If he's not alive, none of this matters. The Secret Service is grotesquely unprepared to keep this guy alive for 4 years. They're not even prepared to keep this guy alive the first year. There are 4 things that need to happen, and I need you to pay very close attention, because is Sean going to be a good director or not? He's a good man. He's a great man. Is he going to be a good director? The answer, folks, I'm going to tell you, was not my first pick. It has nothing to do with his character. 4 huge things need to happen. Number 1, the Secret Service needs to dump investigations right away. I've said it 1,000 times. I don't want to recover this segment. You guys are bored of it. If the Secret Service does not stop wasting over 50% of its manpower chasing counterfeit bills at a 7-Eleven at midnight rather than keeping President Trump alive, someone's going to get dead fast. End of story. There is no protection agency on earth, private sector or public sector, that if they went to a CEO and said, we can't protect you today because our agents are out investigating a counterfeit bill at 7-Eleven, that wouldn't be fired. The Secret Service gets away with it because they've been lying to Congress forever. We need to do investigations. It makes better agents. That is so hilariously dumb. I'm stunned nobody in Congress has picked up on it. What really pisses me off is I've been working with members of Congress, and you know who you are, many of them, on a piece of legislation to fix this. Is Sean going to do that? I hope so. I have not spoken to him about it, spoken to some other people. I really hope it does happen. Or is he going to go up there and defend investigations like every prior director, which is going to in turn lead to the next day another complaint that the Secret Service doesn't have enough manpower? You can't have it both ways. Either your manpower doing other things or you don't have manpower. Second, the DEI stuff has to go. Is he going to fix that? I don't know. I choose not to get emotional about it. Passionate, not emotional. We're going to see. He could be the change agent. He could. And if he is, believe me, all the accolades are going to be on this show. The DEI stuff has to go. The Secret Service has been one of the worst offenders in the federal government at promoting people because of all kinds of ridiculous characteristics. I can't even tell you how many times I heard, well, we need this many flankers around the presidential limo. One has to be black, one Hispanic, one woman. You're like, wait, what? I thought we just wanted people to protect the president. They are the worst offenders. If Sean Curran is the next director, I haven't heard it from President Trump, by the way, so I'm kind of like have to apply the Bongino rule, but it's hard to because it's Friday, and folks, I'm getting bombarded with questions. I can't go the weekend without it. Is he going to scrap this DEI crap and just start promoting people, men, women, black, white, Asian, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, according to merit, or because we got to keep this guy alive, or are we going to continue with the DEI bullshit? That's the second thing. Third, I told you in my congressional hearing, something I've been absolutely laser focused on. The Secret Service is the worst government agency by far on technology. They don't trust anything. We used to joke, and it's not funny, but we laughed about it at the time because you had to or you'd cry. The Secret Service's motto was yesterday's technology tomorrow. They were using, smartware in the 2000s. If any of you know computers, smartware's from like the 40s or something. They didn't even use smartware on like the Apollo missions. It was so old. They don't know what they're doing with technology. It's because their people aren't comfortable with it, so they're afraid to get outside the box. The Secret Service needs massive private partnerships with technology companies and real others to figure out how to leverage everything from AI to satellite technology to satellite internet to geolocating to anti-drone technology to drone technology to surveillance cameras. They are way, way behind. I've got on good authority. They are totally unprepared for the inauguration as well. I've warned you about it. Let's just hope luck strikes again. The fourth thing, so we got investigations, the DEI crap, the technology problem. The fourth thing, the Secret Service has a massive culture problem. It has a huge culture problem. The culture at the Secret Service of doing more with less is, one, false, and it's been embedded into them that they should sacrifice the job to do more with less. They don't do more with less. They do less with more. Their budget's increased, and yet the protection is less effective. How do we know that? Because President Trump was almost killed twice. Kristi Noem, who is going to be the boss of whoever runs the Secret Service. I haven't heard anything official. Again, I want to be clear, but the rumors out there, and I'm getting bombarded with questions, and I'm going to answer all this today. I've given my advice. It hasn't been taken. I really genuinely hope, as I put on Twitter last night, from the bottom of my heart, that it works out. Kristi Noem, who is going to be the DHS secretary, I don't see any problems there. She's at her confirmation hearing. It's actually going on right now. It's a pretty uneventful hearing. Again, you're free to tune in. These hearings always kind of ding up our live stream numbers a little bit. We lose about 5,000-10,000 people, but that's good. It shows people are interested in current events. We make it up later. This one's really kind of uneventful. She's kind of an uncontroversial nominee. She's not, Kristi Noem's not going to really light up anybody's partisan fires. So she was there, but here's a positive sign. Here's a very positive sign for the Secret Service. She clearly knows the investigations thing is a problem for the Secret Service. How do I know? Because here's what she just said about 2 hours ago. Play that cut, guys.
There's two elements really that the Secret Service is tasked with, and that is protective detail and then also investigations. Yet we see investigators within the Secret Service out there investigating antiquities and other things that are off mission when they should be focused on making sure we're addressing national security events with the protocols that are necessary and protecting the individuals that they're charged with.
Listen, I don't know Kristi Noem particularly well, but I know her enough. I hope she means that. And I think she does. There's no reason she would say it under oath at a confirmation hearing. She was just making it up. Whether you agree or disagree with her appointment, again, that's open for the MAGA world, who I have the deepest respect. We're the biggest MAGA show out there. So you guys obviously matter to me more than anyone. That's open for debate. Tell me in the chat. You like her? You hate her? Someone else is Cash out. No. Cash is FBI director. Kristi Noem is DHS secretary. I'm watching the chat right now. You guys like the pick or don't is up to you. However, it's a really good sign that at least when it comes to the Secret Service, remember, she's in charge of ICE, CBP, FEMA. She's got a big HSI. She has a huge portfolio, hundreds of billions of dollars in money, massive amounts of personnel. It's a big job. But the Secret Service has to be, for her, I believe, priority one. Because if we can't keep this guy alive and fix this thing right away, and she's going to be the supervisor of the director of the Secret Service, if she doesn't agree to get rid of investigations and work with Congress, because they're going to have to fix 18 U.S.C. 3056, they're going to have to rewrite that, then nothing's going to happen. So there's a little bit of good news. At least she understands the problem. So I'm going to leave it there, folks. I had nothing to do with it. I gave my advice. At this point, it doesn't appear like it was taken. I'm happy to answer any questions. I'm happy to provide it. If you don't want it, that's fine. I did not get elected president. I never ran for president. I ran for office. I lost. If they wanted my political opinion in Congressional District 6 in Maryland, we would have won. We lost. However, you seem to like my political opinions. God had a different path for me. This is it. We're the #1 MAGA show out there. The MAGA sphere is here. It's here every single day. There's 126,000 of you here right now. There it is. And if I sound a little upset about things, I promise you, I only have the boss's well-being in mind. That is it. Nothing else. Okay? That's probably the hardest segment I've ever done, because I realize that a lot of people aren't going to be happy, and then left-wingers will love that because I'm acknowledging what they've wanted to hear the whole time. You have lefties. You hate my guts. You want to hear, oh my gosh, he gave his advice and they ignored him. There you go. Let's just hope and pray that these changes happen. And then maybe it's just hard to talk about because there's so much at stake. All right, I got a lot coming up, including President Trump, who was nice enough to come on the radio show yesterday and spend about 15, 17 minutes with us. Wide-ranging interview, covered the drones, covered the not-so-smooth transition, covered also the January 6th. That answer kind of lit up the internet yesterday. It's fascinating how many news outlets refuse to cover it because it's the Dan Bongino show. Don't worry, guys. That's why you're no longer the news and we are. We got you. Folks, a great story right here. A lady named Phyllis walks into a neighborhood pharmacy in New Jersey and asks the pharmacist for an antioxidant cream for her wrinkles. The pharmacist says, I'll compound one for you. Come back tomorrow. Phyllis uses the cream for 3 days, goes back to her dermatologist. The doctor, just looking at her, thinks she got some work done. That's, believe it or not, how Genucel Skincare was born. Genucel Skincare is the official skincare Paula uses and of the Bongino Army. It was 25 years ago. Genucel ships millions of orders, yet they still have the same philosophy of antioxidants, the same base, and the same chef in the kitchen. Celebrating 25 years, GENUCEL, Genucel is offering the best pricing since Phyllis walked into that pharmacy. Right now, save over 70% off Genucel's complete skincare package featuring the Genucel under eye bags and puffiness serum, jawline sculpting treatment, the immediate effects for results in minutes. Look 5, 10, even 15 years younger. Go to Genucel.com/Dan, Genucel.com/Dan, and as a special gift, every package order includes a bonus beauty box with 2 skincare bestsellers, plus free priority shipping. Genucel.com/Dan, Genucel.com/Dan. Thank you, Genucel. So let's get to this. We broke so many news stories yesterday with President Trump. Deeply appreciate him coming on. Thank you to Margot and Dan Scavino and the rest of his team who were facilitated the interview yesterday. It's one of his first. I think he did Hugh Hewitt and another interview. So it's since he's been elected, and we appreciate it. I asked him yesterday about the transition, how Joe Biden is throwing every obstacle in his way. Folks, I've told you about what Joe Biden did with Cuba, pulling him off the state sponsor list. Joe Biden shoveling money out the door to hurt Donald Trump's GDP numbers and to pay off lobbyists. Joe Biden yesterday putting out new Title IX NIL things that's going to screw up all the college sports. Did you see, folks? I don't have time to go over all the things this guy's doing out the door. I'm just telling you can expect more damage over the weekend. This guy has a few more days to F your life up, and he's going to take it. If you like college sports, he screwed up the whole NIL system yesterday. He basically said, you got to give the same amount of money to men and female athletes. Really? So you're telling me the center, the Cooper Flag guy for Duke, who's one of the best basketball players in the country, should get the same money as Hannah Jones, who's a rower on the team? I mean, this is what they do. All out the door. This is all going to have to be unscrewed now. I asked President Trump about the smooth transition bullshit narrative. He was all over it. Check this out. Mr. President, this is not a smooth transition. He's trying to hurt you as you get into office. There's no doubt about that.
It's 100% right, and it started right from the beginning, and it's a disgrace what's happening. And if you take a look, 635,000 acres, you know what that is? It's half the ocean. Take a look at it. He took it off. It's probably $60 trillion worth of value. That's more than double the debt that we own. And he takes it off the value, just writes it off. It's like you write it off. But we're going to be redoing these things as soon as I get in. And literally on the day that I get in, we're going to be having executive orders that's going to reverse most of it. And whatever we can't reverse, we're going to court. We're going to win them all in court very easily, quickly.
Good. That's great
but
to hear.
He's making the transition absolutely different. He's making everything so difficult. He's been a terrible president. I read your statements every week where you go, the worst president in the history of our country. And he really is. He's the worst president in the history of the country. And he's always talking about a smooth transition. And then he goes out and wipes out 635 million. Think of it. 635 million acres.
635 million acres, just a small amount of property. You know, I went on to tell him during that interview that, you know, it doesn't even take a real estate guy to figure all of this out. Biden walking out the door is trying to burn the place to the ground first. Folks, that's what Joe Biden does. And I just want to warn you on a Friday. And I know it's Friday. Enjoy yourselves during the weekend. Enjoy your family. My other daughter, Amelia, her birthday is tomorrow, the 18th. She's going to be 13, a teenager, so we're all going to have a good time. I'm just telling you, Joe Biden is going to do more stuff over the weekend. You can expect to see some EPA stuff. And yes, can Donald Trump overturn this stuff? The problem is, and I want you to listen to this clip coming up next, the left understands this one thing better than anyone. Ladies and gentlemen, process is punishment. The left gets that better than anyone. If they can create a laborious process for President Trump, where he's going to spend 6 months trying to undo Biden's stuff, then ladies and gentlemen, it's 6 months he can't spend doing his own stuff. The great Mike Benz put this clip out. This is a really powerful clip. I want you to watch it. It's not Benz, it's another commentator, but it's about exactly what Biden's doing right now. I see a bunch of commentators who have this all wrong. This guy nails it. They're like, oh, don't worry, Donald Trump's going to come in office and overturn this stuff. Yes, you are 100% correct. The problem is it's going to eat up all of our time. Biden is burning the house down on the way out. Listen to this. The process is punishment. This explains it perfectly. Check this out.
Heroes represent Musk, and he's come out and said, oh, it's a ticky-tack lawsuit, and shows they don't have anything against him and whatever. But the reason that you would want to file this suit is the same reason that Joe Biden is continuing to pass laws to try to Trump-proof democracy. The more Joe Biden does in the waning days of his administration through administrative agencies like SEC, and stacks it up in front of Donald Trump, the more Donald Trump has to undo. The more Joe Biden does, the more Donald Trump has to undo. And eventually, in that curve of resources, political capital, and time, Donald Trump's going to run short. There's only so much he can do on day 1 or day 100 in his administration. And many of the things that Joe Biden has done, for instance, are Trump-proof. It's going to be very difficult for him to reverse 330 million acres being put into a wilderness preserve so it can't be drilled for oil or gas based on the way that law is written. Very smart. It's going to be very hard for Donald Trump immediately to undo giving people temporary protective status as immigrants. And it's going to be very hard for him to kill lawsuits like the one that was just filed against Musk. It will happen. The new SEC chair will withdraw this, but we want Trump to expend scarce political capital and look the American people in the eye and say, oh, I took that lawsuit away. I gave Musk a free ride, even though he's going to be the head of my Department of Government Efficiency. The show Conflicted Ethics. It helps in our politics to see Donald Trump have to make actual moves on a chessboard, all for the public to see. And that's why these cases being filed even so late, even on the last day or the last minute, are important.
I know that clip is long, but I want you to digest and tattoo on your brain every single second of what that gentleman just said. He's 100% correct. Everything Biden is doing out the door is designed to F you at the drive-thru, Leo Getz style. None of this is done because Biden cares about the country. Biden hates the country. Biden hates you. He hates himself. He hates his family. Biden walking out the door is taking out his internal rage at his, what does he have, small syndrome? I don't know. He's taking his rage out on you. He doesn't care about college sports, offshore drilling, the economy, your wallet, your job. Biden cares about burning the country down. He's pissed off that his party hates him. He's pissed off he's leaving office, the most discredited, unpopular president in American history. He's pissed off he's leaving office under a cloud of suspicion about his ties to China. He's pissed off he had to pardon his son because his son was involved in a whole bunch of crimes he was being investigated on. He's pissed off because he's a lying, plagiarizing, kid-sniffing loser. So as he walks out the door, he's burning the place to the ground. The Elon Musk thing, folks, I met Elon Musk for 10 seconds in a green room at the UFC. I have no relationship to Elon Musk whatsoever. What's happening to Elon Musk is only because Elon Musk did not kiss Joe Biden's ass like the monarch he thinks he is. Here's Elon Musk, by the way, in a clip you may have missed. The Biden administration suing him. This case and all of the surroundings about it, most of this has already been litigated. He's only suing him so Donald Trump can pull the SEC off the case so the media has a little nugget story to go with. Listen to Elon and what happened to him with this guy being targeted because he didn't kiss the Democrats' asses. Sounds like a tyranny, doesn't it? Check this out.
I did actually have the funding secured, and there was a big trial in San Francisco, a big civil trial, and the jury found me not guilty. Unanimous finding of a San Francisco jury. The reason I agreed to the fine for the SEC is not because the SEC was correct. That was extremely bad behavior by the SEC, corruption, frankly. But if I did not agree to pay the fine, Tesla would have gone bankrupt immediately. So I was told by our CFO that the banks would immediately suspend our lines of credit. And if they suspend our lines of credit at that time, we would have gone bankrupt instantly. So there would never have been an opportunity for a trial because Tesla would be dead. So really, if this is like someone holding a gun to your kid's head and saying, pay $20 million and admit there's like a hostage negotiation.
A hostage negotiation is exactly what's going on right now. That's how big, deep state liberal governors, people involved in government, work. They use the government as a tool to kick you right in the balls. And you better spread them. If you don't, they're going to throw your ass in jail. There are still a few days left, folks. I want you to be very cautious. That's why they're freaking out, by the way, about Kash Patel and others coming in. By the way, I'm watching simultaneously the Rumble chat. Thank you guys for all your nice comments, by the way. Love you guys. Sorry, I got off the mic. Who says that? Disgraceful. Scaro 2001. You're absolutely correct. It is disgraceful. But what do I always tell you? Measure the effectiveness or damage of a policy by your enemy's response. If your enemies don't really care, then it's probably an ineffective policy because they're not paying attention. If your enemies lose their minds, folks, it's usually a sign you're doing something right. I want you to go to Twitter. Do me a favor, X, whatever it is right now, X. Put in my last name. Watch all of the deep state accounts I've been telling you about. They're lefties. They disguise themselves anonymously under different kind of names. I'm telling you, they're deep state lefties. They're ecstatic. They're ecstatic that my advice on presidential protection was at least ignored. They're ecstatic about it. You have to ask yourself, these deep state accounts that hide, they're 100% deep staters. I promise you, you are being fucked over. You have to ask yourself, why are they so happy about that? Why? I'm never wrong. That's why the show's number one every day. Well, I take that back. Yesterday we were number 2, but we've been number 1 every other day this week, live stream wise. We're the maggots for you. We lost to some, what was it? Subathons. What are subathons? They're always like a big deal. These people, they do these big, long 24-hour streams and they get subscriptions and stuff. And that's maybe I should do that sometime. Should we do a subathon, Guy? What do you think? That'd be a pretty cool idea. What do you guys think in the chat? We should do a subathon. Was it Kai or Speed did one? That would, right? They had like 300,000 people on a live. It's crazy. That's a big number, man. We had 500,000. That was election night. All right, quick break. I'm going to get back to the show. I'm going to show you a clip. Guy insists if we don't play this clip that I'm not allowed to do a show with him ever again. I don't want to lose the guy. It's a clip from Tim Pool's show about a massive, massive awakening from gaslighting stupor. He loves it. It may be one of his top 10. You having trouble sleeping or staying asleep? Beams Dream Powder. Don't feel tired the next day. It ruins your whole life. Can't perform physically. You get brain fog. No good. Try Beam's Dream Powder. I took it last night. It's a science-backed nighttime blend for sleep, clinically shown to help improve sleep and help you wake up feeling refreshed like I do today. They sent me some to try. It's been a game changer for me. Now, as I look ahead to 2025, I need to keep the momentum going. Show's growing. Got a lot going on. Dream's part of my nightly routine. Makes a big difference. Why? Because other sleep aids cause the next day grogginess. Dream contains a powerful, all-natural blend of reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, apigenin, which I love, and melatonin to help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up refreshed. The ultimate sleep refresh for the new year? Try Beam's best-selling Dream Powder and get up to 45% off for a limited time. When you go to shopbeam.com/Bongino, use code Bongino at checkout. That's shop, BEAM.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino for up to 45% off. And our last sponsor before we get back to the show, I swear I did not even know. You did not tell me. Right? I'm not kidding. Blackout, perfect timing. That was not planned. Blackout Coffee. Blackout Coffee uses premium beans, not these lower grade junk garbage brown water beans. You want coffee to taste like coffee? Bold but never bitter. Tastes like actual coffee. I love me a strong tasting coffee. I don't want anything weak. I don't want a weak country. I don't want a weak military. I don't want weak coffee either. That's why I'm proud to personally recommend the official coffee of the Bongino Army, Blackout Coffee. The flavors are delicious too. Their blueberry crumbles, amazing. They have a dark chocolate flavor, boom. They have a ready to drink too. Justin absolutely loves it. Skip the long lines at the store and order online. The folks at Blackout Coffee ship within 48 hours of roasting. It's incredible. Do me a favor. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino and see what I'm talking about. They're the real deal. Time to quit drinking woke corporate junk coffee every morning? That's blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino or use code Bongino for 20% off your first order. Make the switch to Blackout Coffee. You're going to love it. John from Blackout Coffee, can you do us a favor? The studio is opening up in about a month. Can you stock the fridge for us with ready-to-drinks for Justin? And Justin would love it. Justin would absolutely go bananas. I'm happy to pay for it. Free, but you got to send this stuff over, all right? We would love that. You like that? We'll take a picture. Justin will drink it for you on my Instagram. All right, back to the show. Folks, panic is breaking out everywhere. Breaking out everywhere over the appointment of Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, Kristi Noem, and others, because they know Donald Trump is here for shock and awe. I actually asked him about it in yesterday's interview. By the way, the interview, if you want to watch the whole thing, Guy, it's at rumble.com/Bongino Clips. We have a Bongino Clips channel too. I don't know if you know that. That's where you can find the full interview. Rumble.com/Bongino Clips. That's separate from my Bongino channel if you want to watch the whole thing. But I asked President Trump about shock and awe. Folks, they are really terrified here. Kash Patel seems to have them particularly freaked out. I think he's an exceptional pick for FBI director. His hearing is going to be electric, and we're going to keep our eye on that when it happens. They seem really scared about Kash Patel. Why am I bringing it up? Kristi Noem's up there today and others. Because they keep asking everyone about Kash Patel, even though it's not even his hearing. Watch Da Nang Dick Blumenthal claims he served in Vietnam when he didn't. He seems obsessed with this guy. Check this out.
Going back to Kash Patel, someone who, if he were the FBI director, would obviously work under her. I'm curious, your thoughts about that, your thoughts about Kash Patel and your concerns and why you wrote this letter.
The reason for the letter, and thank you for having me to talk about it, is very simply to make my colleagues more aware of some of the really extremist views that he's expressed, his adherence to QAnon, his embrace of conspiracy theories, his statement that government undercover agents instigated and incited the January 6th insurrection, and maybe most important, his determination to go after enemies, that is, political opponents, judges, media, lawyers, who he regards as advocates of opposing political views.
Folks, I can't. The rules of the show do not change, okay? Always measure the effectiveness of a pick, a piece of legislation, or anything else by the reaction of your enemies. Why is Da Nang Dick? They've got Pam Bondi, Kristi Noem. They had Sean Duffy there the other day, Russ Vogt. They had Scott Besson at Treasury. Why are they talking about Kash Patel every day? It should tell you, my gosh, Kesh Patel's probably the biggest threat to the deep state because he is. That's why they're freaked out. They're freaked out because they know consequences are coming. One guy who's impressed me a lot, I've known this guy a long time from Florida politics, Mike Walls, former Green Beret. He's going to be Trump's incoming national security advisor. You know, the record in Congress is always going to be outcomes I'll disagree with. However, he's saying all the right things since this potential appointment. He is the appointed national security advisor, just haven't taken office yet. Mike Waltz teases consequences for former intel officials who signed that ridiculous Hunter Biden laptop disinformation letter. I hope so. I hope there's a full investigation as to how these people were misled, air quotes, important air quotes, into believing Hunter Biden's laptop was some kind of Russian operation. You get the air quotes there? Who told them that? They didn't really believe it, but who told them that? I want to see that information. You know what? Let's get to this Tim Pool because I don't want to miss this. He'll lose his mind. I can't have this guy melting down. He'll start quoting Star Wars. We'll get into a Rogue One fight again. It'll blow up in the chat. The show will get completely distracted and fall off track. Folks, the gaslighting is about to come to an end. Google just pledged, like Facebook, we'll see what happens. Throw the Axios thing up first if you would, to dumping fact-checking. Now, Google, I trust even less than Facebook and other companies. I am still banned from YouTube. I will not be back on YouTube. I'm on Rumble. However, I am banned for telling you masks don't work, which they don't. So Google says they won't add fact checks despite this new EU law. I trust Google even less. They're all kissing Donald Trump's ass right now, all these people. But the gaslighting is about to end, and fake fact checking was a big portion of it. The reason you don't know about COVID, some people out there who are just having their eyes open today, is because people like me who tried to warn you about the vaccine, its pseudo-preventative measures, and masks not working as a prophylactic device. The reason people don't know about it is because people like me were banned. You can go look that up. Dan Bongino banned from YouTube. I'm not making it up. You can go look for my official channel on YouTube. You'll notice it's not there. And it's not there because people were gaslit, right? Because of fact checkers. The gaslighting effect is so powerful that when you see someone, what's the reverse of gaslighting? Like ungaslighting? I don't know. When you see someone wake up from the stupor, like Clockwork Orange, eye-opener style, it is just a marvel to behold. And you can't believe they believed bullshit. So this King of Poker guy was on, very popular guy apparently. I don't follow poker too much. I play blackjack and I'm not very good at it. I'm certainly not the king of blackjack. Was on Tim Pool's show, an excellent program. And he's talking about the first time he found out that the Fine People hoax was in fact completely made up. And it's stunning because all you had to do was go and watch the speech, which he finally decided to do. This is what it looks like when you're ungaslit. Check this out.
I was a believer that he said, Nazis are fine people. Okay. And I believed that for a very long time. I'm embarrassed to say so. Then someone says, did you watch the video? I said, yeah. No, the whole video. Oh, I never saw the whole video. It was never on my, my news channels. Then I watched it and he said, wait a minute. Literally after he says that, he says, I'm not talking about white supremacists or neo-Nazis. And I'm like, well, what else has he done? Then the bloodbath thing. He's talking about the auto industry, clearly a financial term, bloodbath. And they twist that into saying that, there's going to be civil unrest. So like when you do that, you lose people like me in trusting your narratives and what you say. When you say that, well, when Trump's assassination attempt, on CNN it says Trump fell at a rally.
When you finally watched that video, how soon did you find yourself an encounter with another believer that you were trying to convince?
Well, I remember showing it to my wife, right? Because she'd never seen it either. And, she's obviously, been a liberal-minded person her whole life. And when she saw it, at first, it's like you have to listen to it twice. Because you're like, wait a minute, no. Did they really? Did every single media outlet for all these years and continued? I was very disappointed, frankly, when Obama on the campaign trail was repeating that same final. Yeah. I was so disappointed. I thought like.
You see why Guy loves this clip? Isn't it a marvel to behold when ScrewTube, Google, Facebook, and all these left-wing platforms run by communists stop censoring the truth from people that amazingly they go out and find it? I know a lot of you in the chat are laughing like, you believe the Fine People hoax? You just had to watch the speech. I completely condemn the white supremacists. I mean, he says it. But folks, listen, I am obviously not apologizing for anyone. I don't even know if I should say, because I know someone's going to misinterpret this, but it's fine. I got to say it anyway. I'm not apologizing for anyone. I'm simply telling you something I've said often. People have really busy lives. Lefties, righties, commies, Tea Party people. They do. They go to Twitter or Facebook or whatever it is, and they read the first thing they see. They don't even click on it and go, Trump talks about white supremacy. That's it. I'm not apologizing for them. I'm not telling you it's right. It's your obligation to do your homework. The hard reality is most people don't. And when you hide information, that's what you get. And then when you unhide it, all of a sudden people are like, holy shit, I've been red pilled. It's like we've been telling you the entire time. You want to know the next massive red pill coming? Ladies and gentlemen, January 6th. We can all watch the videos. We all know what happened. But the strangest thing about January 6th is we still don't have answers about the scaffold erected to hang people. Who exactly put that up there? We have no answers as to why the doors were seemingly opened and people were welcomed in. We have no answers as to how many feds were in the crowd, despite me telling you there were feds in the crowd who've shown me pictures of them in the crowd working. We have no answers on the January 6th pipe bomber, who he was, despite the FBI. All the evidence points to the fact they know who he is right now. This is the next massive red pill. So President Trump, again, was nice enough to come on the show yesterday. And for those of you who missed it, did you guys like this question or not? This was for you. You wanted some answers? He was happy to give them to you. Check this out. The identity of the infamous January 6th pipe bomber. It seems bizarre to me that the FBI continues to manipulate the American public about this case. Can we get an answer between you, Pam Bondi, and hopefully Kash Patel on who this person is and have the FBI open the books? Because I believe this is a huge scandal and a massive cover-up.
I think we will, and I think we're going to find out about Ray Epps, and I think we're going to find out about Scaffold Man. You know who Scaffold Man is, right?
Yeah.
The guy who's screaming to everybody, go into the building, go into the building. We're going to find out who Scaffold Man is, and we're going to find out some other things. And I think you're going to be very happy with what I do with respect. I call them the J6 hostages because I consider them hostages. You know, they did a beautiful song, and they asked would I do the words, not the singing, the words. And I did. That song went to #1 for so long. It was beating out Taylor Swift. I'm not a fan of Taylor Swift, but that's okay. And everybody else, beating them all out for a long time. And it was pretty amazing, actually, the song and the whole thing. Those people, nobody's ever been treated so badly as those people.
He's not letting it go, folks. And I know all the swampies out there in the Republican Party. You need to focus on inflation. Yes. You need to focus on the border. Yes, you are 100% correct. We also need to focus on the massive deep state scandal that is the January 6th subterfuge. Folks, I know what happened. I get it. Deep state Republican rhinos, deep state Twitter accounts, faking it that you're something else. Oh, I'm part of you MAGA. You're not. We know what you're doing. I understand you don't care about what happened on January 6th. I understand you're going to tell us over and over. Some people assaulted cops. I have spoken out against that. Always will. Period. End of story. It's been repeated a million times. I wish the day would have went differently. It did not. I also wish that the other side would acknowledge that we're clearly being bullshitted about what actually happened that day. Thank God, President Trump, and I'm not using the Lord's name in vain. I mean, thank you, Lord Jesus Christ, that we won this election and we're going to get some answers about what our government's been up to. Folks, there's some economic gaslighting going on too. There was a hearing yesterday that did not get a lot of attention, but I'm telling you it should have. President Trump picked a Treasury Secretary, a guy by the name of Scott Bessent. And Scott Bessent, he's not the most, I don't understand, I'm not trying to insult him, man. He's not the most fiery guy. I mean, he's certainly not like the Dan Bongino show in that respect. And that's probably a good thing for Treasury Secretary. You want to calm the markets, right? My job is to get you excited about politics, right? But the hearing yesterday was pretty incredible. I just want to play a couple of clips, and this one here, because economic gaslighting is a real thing too. If there is one piece of economic gaslighting that I could break. If God himself came down tomorrow and said, Dan, I am going to allow you into people's brains to change one stupid thing liberals believe, it would be about Hauser's Law. I'm not going to bore you with all the economics, but Hauser's Law, named after Hauser, of course, is the idea that it doesn't matter what the tax rate is in the United States, the income tax rate. People are going to pay about 17 to 20% of their money in income taxes overall, averaged across the economy. And once it gets higher than that, they'll do anything they can to avoid taxes. In other words, it doesn't matter if the tax rate's 90% or 20%, the government's going to get about 20% of your money. So what should that tell you? If you believe in math, that if the government's going to take about 20% of GDP, whether you agree with it or not, if you spend more than 20, you're going to run a debt or deficit every year. It doesn't matter the tax rate. Besson tried to explain this to these idiots up on Capitol Hill yesterday. It's called Hauser's Law, Hauser. Look it up yourself. It doesn't matter what the tax rate is. People will not give you more than a fifth of their income across an economy, unless you do like a VAT. That's why they want it, because you can't see it. Here's Besson trying to describe it to these idiots. This is great. I promise it's worth your time. Check this out.
We do not have a revenue problem in the United States of America. We have a spending problem. That historically, for the past 40 or 50 years, revenues, federal government revenues, have averaged about 17 to 17.5% of GDP. Yeah. And spending has been slightly over that, leading us to a 3.5% budget deficit, which is manageable because we have roughly 3.8% nominal growth, 1.8% real growth, 2% inflation. Today, as you stated, and to be clear, this is one of the things that got me out from behind my desk and my quiet life in this campaign, was the thought that this spending is out of control. We are spending about 24, 25% of GDP. So as you said, 6.8 to 7% deficit. We have never seen this before when it is not a recession or not a war.
There is nothing your boy Dan Bongino loves more than economics. I know most people hate it. It's called the dismal science for a reason. It doesn't matter. Do you believe in math? We raise 17 to 20% of the economy in taxes. Besson's like, if you spend 24, you're going to be in debt. It's not freaking hard. Look it up. It's called math. Here's a great one here. I got two good clips. One, Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, just eating alive these CNN idiots. By the way, now that this TikTok thing is in effect, it's not a ban again, but TikTok may go off the air, offline on Sunday if they don't sell. I am just an investor in Rumble. I am not a manager. I want to be crystal clear. However, as a Joe civilian, but who has a lot of money invested in Rumble, I do not manage the place for the 1,000th time. I am going to highly recommend that Rumble, again, seek out Kevin O'Leary and others and get involved in the partnership if TikTok's going to be purchased. We have the video expertise to do this. So Kevin O'Leary, I only bring him up because he's been talking about Rumble, but this clip is different. But I want you to watch another clip by Besson where he brings up this great point. Bernie Sanders, of course, communist, phony class warrior, is rich himself. I think he has 3 houses or whatever. Here's Bernie Sanders calling out a group of rich people. By the way, a couple of them I'm not even a huge fan of. They hate our guts. However, Besson points out this really interesting thing. Like, what are you talking about? Like, 2 of those 3 people you're talking about, they made their own money. Like, this fake fair share bullshit and this war on the rich is so pathetic because Bernie Sanders is rich himself. Check this out.
When you have a small number of multi-billionaires who have enormous economic, media, and political power, would you agree with President Biden, who last night stated, and I quote, "An oligarchy is taking shape in America of extreme wealth, power, and influence that threatens our entire democracy, our basic rights, and freedoms," end of quote. That's what President Biden said last night. I agree with him. Do you?
Senator Sanders, I enjoyed our visit.
Talk a little bit closer into the mic.
I enjoyed our visit, and I hope you got my follow-up materials that on the discussions, my previous writings on the tariffs and China. And look, the three billionaires who you listed that all made the money themselves.
Unlike Bernie Sanders, who seems to gotten rich off of public service. Folks, you don't got to like rich people. Personally, I don't even like hanging around rich people. You notice why you don't see a ton of pictures every week of me hanging around country clubs anywhere, or politicians or anyone else? Look at my Instagram. There's a couple here and there. You're invited to dinner to speak to the president. You go out of respect. You'd be crazy not to. However, it's not the kind of thing that happens to me. Why? It's not about them. It's not, that's not my thing. However, I'm not jealous of rich people because I do my own thing. I don't spend my time worrying about other people's bullshit. I worry about my own. Here's Kevin O'Leary asking a really fascinating question on CNN that applies to Bernie Sanders too. He's talking about Joe Biden here, but watch the panel kind of freak out a little bit when he asks a really simple question. How the hell did Joe Biden get rich? What has he created? I mean, Bezos at least has Amazon, whether you like him or not. Elon's got a whole bunch of stuff. What the hell did Joe Biden create? Besides a bag of cocaine in the White House, what the hell did Biden create? Check this out.
Common sense laws to make sure that the people at the top don't abuse the people at the bottom. And our system in Washington is broken.
That's fair. It's all fair, but half the country's still wondering how Joe Biden got rich.
Yeah, okay, so here...
How did he get rich?
But if Joe Biden got rich...
How did he get rich? Does anybody understand how that happened?
I actually think that, Kevin, your question about Joe Biden's legacy and how he will be seen is actually extremely important. Because I think it's not just Republicans who are asking the question, is Joe Biden going to be looked back on fondly? Democrats are too.
Folks, you may say, why did you leave the response that had nothing to do with anything from Abby Phillips, the host you just heard there at the end? Because it's not related at all to that's the point. O'Leary asked a simple question. Does anybody on this panel know how Joe Biden got rich? Did he create something, a service, a product? And Abby Phillips like, I know there's an open question about Joe Biden's legacy. Nobody's asking about his legacy. That's not what he said. He asked a simple question. Can anybody point to some value-added service Joe Biden, outside of his last name, has provided that made him rich? Anyone? And notice how she changes the subject. They hate rich people. As long as they're not Democrat rich people that sold the country out for money, then they love them. Folks, if there's one more myth I could dispel outside of Hauser's law and the economics of taxation and spending, if God Almighty, who I love and adore, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, said, Dan, I'm going to empower you for a day to change one more thing, I would change the idea that government somehow cares about you and that government can do what the free market can't. Government has no incentive to fix any of your problems ever for any reason whatsoever at all. I hope you guys understand that. It is a third-party payer problem. The government does not spend money on itself. It spends it on other people, so it doesn't give a shit. It doesn't spend, the people in government don't spend the money on themselves. They spend it on other people, so they don't care. Milton Friedman has talked about this all the time. That's why they don't care about the cost of anything either, because it's not even their money. Government is the worst way to allocate money every single time. Everything they do sucks because it's designed to suck. I love that. You know this guy, Clay Higgins? Again, outcomes, but this guy seems to really love to stir shit up, and I love people who kick doors in. This Representative Clay Higgins, he's talking to a Social Security Administrator head, and the guy's trying to tell him how great and how work at home and all this other stuff is at Social Security, how they're cleaning stuff up. The customer service is so great. So Clay Higgins, you guys see this? He decides, did you like this clip, Key? Clay Higgins decides to call during the hearing Social Security's helpline and watch what happens. This is just glorious. This is your government hard at work. Check this out.
Mr. Chairman, this is Social Security for 1 hour, 28 minutes, 25 seconds. Phone number 800-772-1213. It's a number for Social Security. This is what our elders have to listen to. These are our elders, my man.
1 hour and 28 minutes. What, the length of your show? No, that's how long he's on hold. He just said it great. How come nobody's done this before? This should be every congressional hearing. Social Security, which takes hundreds of billions of dollars a year from you and then wastes it and throws it away. They can't even answer the phone in an hour and 28 minutes. Now, I am by far not telling you that private industry insurance companies are great at customer service either. But folks, there's a difference. You call whatever, I'm just throwing it, Allstate Insurance, and you don't like waiting for 20 minutes, you can cancel and go to Joe's Insurance or Bobby's Insurance. You can find an alternative. What's your alternative to Social Security? The answer is nothing. You're stuck. They take your money no matter what. They have no incentive to improve customer service because they have an entitlement to your money. It's literally called an entitlement. They don't give a shit, and they will never give a shit, ever. Clay Higgins, hot tip, genius. Folks, I haven't said it in a long time because the election ended. What are the two things that are most effective and kind of salient things you can do to make a political point? Pictures and sound bites. Clay Higgins holding the phone up and the sound of the elevator music in the background is not only a snapshot, but a sound bite too. That's how you make a point. Oh, it's all theatrics. Folks, all politics is theatrics. The only question is who's better at it. And that was very good. Hey, man, thank you guys for everything. Again, I really appreciate your support. I just want you to watch, please, for my sake and your sake, so you understand. I want you to watch Twitter X today. Twitter, put my name in there, not because I'm some kind of egomaniac. I want you to watch what's happening. And I want you to see who's upset. And then you'll see who's on the right and wrong side of the moral arc of history. Do it yourself. It's an interesting test to run.